You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
It's time to spin round the rim. This is Desert Planet Discs. Star Wars music in a single file. Here are your hosts, Carl Bayless and Greg Robertson.
Hot dang, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to track 21 of Desert Planet Discs, your fixed weekly show with Star Wars music from the galaxy far, far away. And this month we are catching up on all the happenings at Celebration Anaheim back in May. But before we jump into that, we kicked off the show this week with Galactic Empire with the Book of Boba Fett theme song. A fantastic rendition of that. But before we're going to talk about Star Wars, it would be rude of me not to introduce myself. I am Greg, otherwise known as Darth Elvis. And joining me is my co-host, the legendary Mooncat Drums, Carl Bayless. How are you doing, sir?
Hello. Not too bad, thank you, sir. And yourself?
I am very good, very good.
Fully caught up on all your sleep?
I'm, yes.
Post-celebration? Yes.
Jet lag is, I don't think I've suffered from jet lag so bad since that, but I think it's because I didn't get much sleep when I was there.
Yes.
I think the night before the big fan bash, I had 2 hours sleep. And they always say get a good night's sleep before you're singing. So that wasn't the best way to start, but
there we go.
Jet lag, I think I'm finally over it. How about yourself?
Yeah, likewise. We'll talk more about the fun and games while we were at Celebration in a bit. But yes, opening the show, we had Galactic Empire, which I think they released that track on May the 4th, because this is our first show since then. We recorded the last show before May the 4th.
Indeed.
Behind the curtain. But there we go, breaking the fourth wall. But yes, and sadly, news has reached us in the intervening weeks that their planned tour of Europe, which we've spoken about several times and we were going to try and head along to, has unfortunately been cancelled. Obviously, tours and ticket sales are still suffering post-COVID, and a lot of artists are struggling. Yes, you know, your big stadium fillers and big field fillers, Liam Gallagher, etc., are still pulling large crowds and large ticket sales, but smaller venues and smaller bands touring are still finding it a little bit hard going out there. So as we always say, get out there, support local bands, even if they're not Star Wars related, but especially if they're Star Wars related. Get out there, support acts, even downloads of tracks from your download site of choice, be that iTunes or buying stuff from Amazon or Spotify, etc., Deezer subscriptions, everything else. Bandcamp. Get on there, support not just the artists that we play, but your favourite artists as well, because not all of them are having a great time of it. So,
indeed, and you mentioned Liam Gallagher there, and it was just, I think yesterday, friends of the show, Ash, announced that they're supporting Liam Gallagher in Belfast.
Indeed.
A couple weeks' time from when we record.
Speaking of Ash, they've also announced some gigs September time.
Indeed.
Where they're going to be playing the Free All Angels album. So they've done, I think during lockdown they did 1977 as like an online gig, which was brilliant. But they are doing a series of dates. So head over to Ash's Facebook page or website, because in the true style of this show, we haven't done any homework. I haven't written down what the tour dates are.
I can tell you that.
Oh, go on then.
So they're playing, as you say, Free All Angels with Charlotte rejoining the band for the dates as well. They're playing Birmingham, Manchester, and London. So 15th of September in Manchester at the O2 Ritz, 17th of September in Birmingham at the O2 Institute, and 18th of September in London at the O2 Forum, Kentish Town.
Indeed, and if you get down to the Birmingham gig, you may well bump into not only myself, but several of our Fantha Tracks colleagues as well.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a few of us going to be taking that one in.
Unfortunately, I don't think I'll manage this tour, but I have seen them, I think, once or twice already this year.
Yeah.
Definitely some in December, and I saw them again in, let's say, April with Supergrass. So,
yeah.
But as always, can't recommend enough going to see Ash. Their live shows are fantastic, and fantastic group of gentlemen and lady with Charlotte joining them on the tour.
Yes.
Who lucky to meet the guys again in at the Roundhouse. That was September last year.
Yeah.
And Charlotte, who jumped on for a few songs as well. So that was great. So yeah, that's Ash. So shall we discuss talking about celebrating great bands? So we talk about celebration.
Celebration, yeah. Celebrate good times. Come on. There you go. By us singing it, we don't have to pay royalties and things.
Well,
yeah, we might get sued.
They might hunt us down.
Yeah.
They'll send inquisitors out to get us.
Indeed. Yeah, so obviously the big news in the world of Star Wars is we've drawn to a close now on Celebration Anaheim 2022. And what I was going to say weekend it was. It was 4 days, 26th through to 29th of May.
Indeed.
Over in Anaheim, as we've already said. Yeah, right next door to Disneyland, which obviously meant that people were out star spotting in Disneyland most of the days, both in the run up to the convention and during. And yeah, but before we even kicked off Celebration, we were lucky enough to get along to the Boonta Eve Bash virtual cantina.
Indeed, and the virtual cantina group as well, the Facebook, the Star Wars Celebration Anaheim Facebook group, which is now the Star Wars Celebration Next Place
Facebook
group, which we'll talk about later.
Stay tuned for more details on that.
Yeah, if you haven't already heard.
Yeah, it's not a secret.
This will be the last place for you to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was run by the Virtual Cantina Facebook group and YouTube channel, but you had Skywalking Through Neverland, where they're helping out and hosting the podcasting karaoke.
Yes.
And Richard, Sarah released their book, History by Day, Day by History, Day by Day History of Star Wars.
That's it. Day by Day History of Star Wars. There we go.
Probably not the exact title, but if you go to Skywalking Through Neverland,
available to buy at Celebration or at the Boonta Eve Cantina, and also at presumably their website.
Yes, indeed.
So,
you can get Skywalking Through Neverland website. So
yeah,
that was a fantastic event. It was a great place to catch up with some friends before the big event kicked off.
Yeah,
it was great for me because beer was reasonably priced compared to like the Hilton, and the Hilton, that's the only place really kind of drank around before. Not really condone drinking, ladies and gentlemen, children.
Yes, please drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly, but
otherwise you'll spill it.
Indeed. I think
and at those prices.
At those prices, exactly. You don't want to. No. You joined us on the Wednesday for Boonta Eve, but we arrived the day before. Some of us on time. Some of our party missed their flight. Not going to name any names, but we met some people on the Tuesday night at the Hilton, a kind of general catch up, and I was blown away by how much a beer cost. So. Going to Boonta Eve the next night was a pleasant surprise because the beer was much reasonably priced and the cocktails are fantastic as well.
Yeah, so there was Star Wars themed cocktails, Star Wars themed karaoke, and there was even some signing guests, including Misty.
No, Misty wasn't signing. She did do some karaoke though. I think she was.
Yes,
because she was signing.
She was signing, yes, at Celebration.
And I think Autograph Universe, I think, had an event. She signed at.
Right.
You had the twins who play the Jawas in Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian.
Yes.
You had
Eric Walker was there.
Eric Walker,
and our old mate, the first female stormtrooper, Sam Elaine.
Indeed. Yeah,
who was on top form every time we saw her. The
most enthusiastic person you're ever going to meet.
Yeah,
and rightly so. She's been in a lot of Star Wars movies, and she's very talented and a great laugh. A pleasure to be around.
Yeah, and in fact, we were also party to possibly the rarest experience any Star Wars fans ever seen, or any of her friends will have ever seen, which is her actually lost for words when one of our other friends, the legend that is Big Kev,
or as I like to call him now, Not So Big Kev,
he presented her with a custom figure of the Rebel pilot that she played in Rise of Skywalker. So she got a 3 3/4 inch Rebel pilot figure done to look like her, and the card back was a mashup of the official character photo, which features her hair sort of tied back sort of quite tightly. So I think Kev had used a bit of artistic license and got some of her other sort of modelling work photos where her hair's down, and used that face image. So she was over the moon, but lost for words, which was really funny. Because every other time we saw her over Celebration, she was definitely not lost for words.
No, not at all. No.
Yes.
No, it was great. Dominic Pace was the other one.
Yes.
Other signing guest, who was Gecko.
Yeah.
Mandalorian episode 4.
Yeah.
3 or 4?
Yeah, it was the
first season.
First season, wasn't it? Yeah. The bounty hunter. So that was a really good night. Greg, obviously, although he wasn't part of the karaoke, did get up to do a quick number in the guise of Darth Elvis, just to make sure his vocal cords had survived the flight.
Yeah, that was a special request from Spencer from the Virtual Cantina. So thanks again to Spencer for inviting me. Also, not in costume. I was playing. I was undercover.
Incognito. Yes.
Yeah. Didn't want to get rushed by my fans.
Yeah.
I had signed some autographs in the parking lot before coming in for my friend Shaman.
Yeah. One of the cool swag giveaways from that were Virtual Cantina $100 bills.
Yeah, they were sexy.
Yeah, those were really, really nice. So.
And it was the first place you could get. They were doing like a 3-piece patch set over the course of the few days, and that was the first patch you could get. Was at that. It turned out it was the only patch. I managed to get the other 2 parts. So if anyone's missing the first part, I'll hook you up.
There you go.
Something nice like that.
Yeah.
But something else we got given at that was a lovely badge from one of the karaoke performers, a fantastic cosplayer, the Vandalorian.
Yes.
Sean Hines, who I believe is on fans of the Star Wars saga. It's I think it's on Amazon Prime show that Chris Mack did. It's kind of like Housewives of Beverly Hills, that kind of thing, but about Star Wars fans. So Sean's part of that, and he's a fantastic Mandalorian Van Halen guitar mashup.
Yeah, so imagine Mandalorian armor with the red, white, and black Frankenstrat paint job on it, and that's pretty much Sean's cosplay, and it was utterly brilliant. And not only that, he got a decent set of pipes on him as well.
He does. I think he came second in the contest, I think.
So and only beaten by a Meatloaf cover. It was I Would Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That, wasn't it?
I believe it was, yeah.
But the female part done by
Misty Rosas,
who was absolutely brilliant.
She's outstanding, and it's going to be at LSCC in London.
Yes. So who knows? You might be able to get her to reprise that, or if you head into LFCC and you want to, a little bit of chatter while you're getting an autograph. Say, I hear you. You do a mean line in Meatloaf vocal counterparting. And see what the reaction is.
I will be dropping that into conversation because I am going to be there, and I'll be definitely going past to get her autograph because I have a Queo picture crying out for me to be added to. So
there we go.
I'll be there. So whilst we're on the musical trip, after the Bunta Eve karaoke,
we had the first day of celebration proper.
Indeed.
We'll come back to that.
At night, we had the multi-club bash, so the 501st Rebel Legion, Mando Mercs, Droid Builders, the Dark Empire, the Galactic, Galactic Heroes, the children's group, Galactic Academy.
Yes.
All mashed together to create one big party featuring Atomic Blonde DJing, DJ Elliott DJing, the Force Capacitors, aka the Flux Capacitors, playing 2 sets, and they had some fantastic guest stars, some really, really talented people joining them on stage, including Mike Quinn, doing Rebel Yell.
Billy Idol classic.
And a perfect song for him to do, being Nine Nums. So, what did you think of the event? Well, before we go into what you thought of the event,
there was somebody else joined.
No, I wasn't going to talk about
the Force Capacitors.
There was. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Okay.
The Eagles landed. So we had one of our own group also join us, Paul Naylor, or as he was called that night,
Paulor. Yes.
He was the ticketing officer.
He was. So one of our very dear friends, Mr. Dave Tree, and his co-podcaster, a certain M. Keeler.
The Martin Keeler,
yes.
Wow.
Pointed out that when the episode of the Book of Boba Fett aired, where they obviously head over to Mayor Mokshay's town hall, the desk clerk at the mayor's office bore a striking resemblance to Mr. Naylor in his sort of day job. And yeah, so that then became a sort of running joke amongst us as friends. Fast forward a little bit, and Paul ends up cosplaying at Celebration as Mayor Mockshay's desk attendant, receptionist, call him what you will. And yeah, so Paul was working the front desk at the multi-club bash, dishing out the wristbands as people came in. That was very funny. Also extremely funny, and possibly the biggest coincidence of the entire weekend, long weekend, was the first person that spotted him in costume happened to be a good friend of Galen Howard, who is the actual actor that played him in the show. And as we're now sort of a week or so post-Celebration, the photos that this friend took with Paul have now got back to Galen Howard, and Galen Howard's now forwarding this picture around his Instagram followers and stuff, and apparently he's got massive bragging rights out of the fact that somebody's cosplaying as him at like the Star Wars convention. So yeah,
it was quite a thing, isn't it?
It was a sight to behold, and
I'm going to start a campaign. I'm going to start a campaign now to get the moustache back.
Yeah,
throw it back, Paul.
As I've told several people who were there and who sadly weren't, we have unleashed a bit of a diva. Yeah, so yeah.
He didn't want to take that costume off.
He didn't want to take the costume off. He's already planning upgrades ahead of future events, not only celebrations, but and he's coined his own catchphrase. Head over to the Fantha Tracks Facebook page, and you'll see some bits of videos and stuff. But yeah, he's got his own catchphrase now. Have you got an appointment? And yeah, so it's.
But at the bash, you had your own job to do at the bash.
I did. I had my very own job at the bash, which was marshalling the VIP area.
Who was the biggest troublemaker?
Who was the biggest troublemaker? Possibly Sam.
Okay.
Stormtrooper Sam. Because she was just sort of kept coming over all the time and going, "Oh, can we get selfies?" Because it was like just to the side of the stage. Yeah, that Newbold fellow from Making Tracks, he was quite demanding.
He's quite trouble, isn't he? He's a troublemaker.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, everybody was really, really well behaved. Obviously, I've got the air of authority of VIP area about me, so...
There was somebody else I kind of thought was a bit of a troublemaker who was also as a guest appearance at the show. No. Let me think. Oh, that's right. It was that Elvis fellow. Yes. Darth Elvis. He was in attendance.
He was. It was quite strange. Greg disappeared, and then this hot danging Elvis turns up. And,
you've never seen us both in the same room together.
No, strangely not. He disappeared shortly after. So yeah,
he's a very handsome man, though, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, once he was in the VIP area, the marshalling of the fans, clamouring for a glimpse of their hero was something to behold, and that did really put me to work with my diplomatic skills, and yes, but it was very good fun, and the force/flux capacitors were brilliant band, and to say they're US based, Darth Elvis isn't US based, and you'd pretty much, I think, had transatlantic Zoom calls and a bit of a run through in soundcheck that afternoon.
That was it. Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant, if I do say so myself.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. I mean, I have to say a huge shout out to and thank you to obviously the multi-club bashes organisers, DJ Elliott, the Martin Keeler for making it possible, and the Flux capacitors who were just outstanding to work with, incredibly professional, tight players, just absolute pleasure to play with. So maybe down the line we might get together again, do something again in future. Who knows? But yeah, thanks very much to the guys there. It was a pleasure to get to know them at the gig. And the other thing I found fantastic about the bash was during lockdown, I got involved with Scum and Villainy Cantina. They did a thing called Cosmic Karaoke, because they have a karaoke night on a Thursday night in the bar. If you're in LA, go to Scum and Villainy Cantina. It's like the Mos Eisley Cantina. They've got great cocktails and stuff. But I'd met so many friends doing this virtual karaoke thing that it was a great way to get through the pandemic. Still be able to sing and stuff. And I actually got to meet some of them finally in person at the bash, which was
superb. Which was
great. So say hello, guys. It was great to meet you in person finally. But no, the bash was fantastic, and as I say, a huge thanks to Martin, Elliott, and Amber, the 501st, and everyone else involved in organising that, and to the Flux capacitors for having me. And go and check them out on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You can find them on all those good social media sites. And if you ever get the chance to go and see them because they are fantastic.
Yeah, as you've just said, really good band, really tight. Usually more Back to the Future themed, which obviously for a sort of party covers band works really well, because obviously they're going back in time to play songs of the past.
Indeed.
Some recent past and some distant past, but yeah, really a good band. Lovely bunch of guys. I sort of spoke to them a bit because obviously they were allowed in the VIP area, so spoke to them a few times on the night. And yeah, really good bunch of guys. Really good musicians. And then they let Greg on stage.
And I ruined it for them.
No,
we must get them on for a chat at some point. On the show.
Yeah, we'll try and get them onto a show to talk about their experience of
the bash,
making Darth Elvis look good.
Hey, I always look good. He always looks good.
Yeah. So speaking of Darth Elvis, it'd be rude of us not to play a track, and this was one that was played on the night, and for the second time, I don't know if it's actually, is it the second time? You can probably tell me. Actually featured the titular character on stage.
It is indeed the second time, yeah. The first time
was #Cantina.
Yeah, Mr. Keeler's, we're trying to get as many mentions as we can. Mr. Keeler's #Cantina in London.
In London, 2016.
We had an Akbar there who slapped Darth Vegas in the face.
Yeah.
It's a slap! And this was the second appearance from an Akbar.
Second appearance from an Akbar, who was absolutely brilliant, giving it big stage moves.
Indeed. There is some video kicking about. I'll see if I can get it up on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Keeler might have it. I'll see what I can do about getting that on the YouTube channel. So
definitely worth checking out. So if you know anybody that was at the bash, for a lot of Greg's set, there were phones out all over the place. For Sheev Palpatine as well. I've seen some video of that kicking about, which was really entertaining.
If you've got any videos or photos, please share them with Darth Elvis on my social medias, because I always appreciate seeing videos and stuff and photos of performances. Or if you got a selfie, I think that was the most selfies I'd ever taken at a show.
There you
go. With some of my biggest fans, apparently. So yeah, if you got some, please share them on the Darth Elvis Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Come and find me and drop me a message.
There we go. So yeah, let's play the aforementioned track, Akbar by Darth Elvis and the Imperials.
And that was Akbar from 4 by Darth Elvis and the Imperials. You can find that on Spotify and SoundCloud and places like that. Go and give it a listen. I think I've even got a karaoke version on YouTube I've recorded with my my downtime in the pandemic. Cosmic karaoke, as mentioned before. So, we've talked about after parties.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the show itself?
The main party, which was Celebration. Yeah.
So, highlights of Celebration. Let's kick off with that. What was your highlights of the show?
Well, it was my first non-UK, non-European celebration. So it's the first time I've done a celebration other than London in 2016. So a long flight on my own, which was interesting.
But to be fair, I was the same because my dad didn't make the flight.
Just need a better alarm clock, and then a nice Uber drive through rush hour traffic in California on a Wednesday afternoon. So, but yeah, it was really, really. I don't quite know what I expected. It was certainly on the first morning when we rocked up and
Q-Fest.
Yeah, joined Q-Fest as we were pointing out to several of our friends who were uninitiated in the world of Star Wars Celebration. Yeah, we're joining a queue whilst being in a virtual queue to join a queue for another event.
Yeah, my mate James, who's never been to a convention before in his life, he was only there for the Thursday. That was his first taste of a convention, and it was like, we're going into a basement to join a queue. Whilst we're in the queue, we're waiting for a virtual queue to open up to then get into the queue to then hopefully get seats for other panels and stuff where we'll also have to queue to get in when
To
we,
get in.
you know, if we get,
Even if you get a place, you still have to queue to get in.
you still have to queue.
Yeah, and obviously we also tried QFest for Celebration Store.
Yep. Failed miserably.
Yes. And for the Mandalorian exhibit.
The Mandalorian experience.
The Mandalorian experience, okay, which come back to in a minute. But yeah, highlights of the show. For me, as I say, not having been to a overseas celebration before, and it being the first show I've been to since the formation of Fantha Tracks, it was really, really nice to meet some of the other Fantha Tracks team, predominantly obviously the US-based ones, who'd made it to the show. So that for me was a real highlight. You know, just getting to meet people and, you know, actually sort of say hello in person to people who've just been names and, you know, pictures and stuff like that in the past. So that was really cool. So yeah, the sort of the personal aspect of doing Star Wars with friends again, which I think we've said for all of the shows that we've done, you know, be it, you know, a Farthest From or an Echo Live or a Wales Comic Con. This is obviously massively Star Wars focused, and it's just cool to just geek out about Star Wars with like-minded people. But one of my own personal highlights was David Collins' music panel. For those of you too young to remember the brilliant Star Wars Oxygen show he did, in that he sort of went really forensic on the soundtracks and some of the composition and some of the little tricks and hidden things in there that mostly John Williams, but there's a really cool show dedicated to the Rogue One soundtrack, where he talks about the work that Michael Giacchino put into that, and some of the little tricks that he, I won't say lifted, but certainly borrowed from the palette of Mr. Williams himself. So yeah, it was just absolutely brilliant. It was called Attack of the Chords. I don't know if it's on the Celebration YouTube channel to be able to rewatch. With one thing and another since I've come back, I haven't actually had much chance to catch up on some of those. But it was just really, really good. Despite the fact that about 15 minutes in, there was a security alert, fire alarm, and they sort of had to evacuate the convention.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah.
Is this part of the show? What's going on here?
Yeah. So we started getting the official. Please make your way safely out of the building. I was like, okay.
Safely and slowly.
Yeah, and to be fair, most people did, but then by the time we got, because that was on the Galaxy stage, which was on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, 2nd or 3rd floor, I think it was.
Yeah. So by the time we'd got down to ground level and outside, on the ground floor, people were just sort of milling about, like, not sure it's a real thing, or so. Yeah, so that was slightly disturbing, and then we had to get right the way back up the stairs again and go back, and David, to his credit, resumed the panel. And managed to cram in, I think, all the salient points that he wanted to get across. But just picking up on some of the really, really clever musical tricks that are in things like Across the Stars, which is obviously the big theme from Attack of the Clones, and how that sort of, I won't say mashup, because that really does down the genius of John Williams, but there are elements of Luke and Leia's theme in Across the Stars.
Yeah, how did he put it? He took, like, what is music? It's like tempo and
pitch and time.
Yeah, and the pitch was
pitch comes from the Leia theme, and the note timings and duration and stuff for Across the Stars comes from Luke's theme.
Yeah, as you say, it was definitely one of the highlights. A couple of musicians ourselves, and my friend James was there. He's a guitarist. We were all kind of like gobsmacked by like you say, the detail he goes into analysing compositions and stuff from John Williams. It's incredible, and
and he's
you kind of come out with your jaw like on the floor, going,
"How
did I not? I've never picked this up before."
And he does his own podcast now, the Soundtrack Show, which is really, really worth checking out.
100%.
Not just Star Wars soundtracks, but a sort of wide range, but just utterly enthralling to be there and see and hear this dissection of the music. And I was lucky enough, I saw him in Chicago do the Phantom Menace. So I'm excited that hopefully at the next celebration we might get Revenge of the Sith. Or Return of the Jedi. I would think, celebration will be happening in 2023.
Phantom Menace was an anniversary when Chicago happened, so it would make sense to do the anniversary of Jedi.
Yeah, so it will be very interesting, and certainly, not wishing to push anybody's or force anybody's hand, but you need to get David Collins doing a Return of the Jedi music panel.
Yes, 100%. I'm with you there.
And I would like to be at that one.
Yes, please. But we're talking about music, and another highlight for me was the opening panel, which I was very lucky to get into because I didn't win the lottery that they do, QFest and virtual, and I didn't do. Oh, did I get for that one? No, I didn't get for that one. But I did join the standby queue, and I kind of got ushered by somebody. Somebody pointed me, go that way, and then I was like, where do I go now? So myself and my pal James were like, let's go up these stairs, and through a curtain, and there we were. We managed to get into the opening panel. We couldn't get out of the opening panel afterwards because we went down the stairs to get a drink, and they were asking for gold bands, which we didn't have because nobody gave us one. So we didn't risk leaving our area, so we went back upstairs, and what an opening panel it was. Talk of all the new shows coming. We got some trailers, but the thing for me that this blew my socks off, and you witness a grown man cry, was Johnny Williams himself coming out with a full orchestra playing the Obi-Wan Kenobi theme song for the first time.
Yeah, Benny's theme.
He played Imperial March, and then he played the Indiana Jones Raiders Lost Ark music, and then Harrison Ford walked out, and that was it. I was just a blubbering mess. I was meant to see John Williams a few years back. I think a few of us were meant to go down to see him at the Royal Albert Hall, and I think due to illness he cancelled. So I'd kind of thought, well, that was my opportunity to see him live. I won't ever see that. I won't ever get to see him again. And just for that to happen was like, lost for words. I was just, I don't think James saw what was happening next time. I was like,
I was lucky enough to see him conducting, I think it was the CBSO, City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra, at Symphony Hall in Birmingham a good few years ago now. And although it wasn't a Star Wars concert, it was, he played Raiders, he played the Superman theme, and all these classics, Jurassic Park, stuff from Schindler's List and things like that, and gave us a bit of, in between song banter about, the creative process and working with, the Spielbergs, and it was, I think, no, he didn't. I was going to say, I think he opened the night with the main Star Wars theme, but he didn't. So right at the obvious encore section. So So yes, the conductor has left the stage. The orchestra stand, take their bows, and everybody's going. Yeah, there seems to be one film that you've somewhat neglected from your prodigious
repertoire.
Your prodigious repertoire and back catalogue. And he came out and they did the throne room piece into the sort of the end credits from New Hope, which regular listeners will probably be aware is possibly one of my favourite Williams themes. The way Throne Room mashes into the main title, sort of, and that was just like sat there, and the hairs just went up on my arms and on the back of my neck, and it is truly wonderful to see him in person. And as you say, he's just celebrated his 90th birthday, so
we got to sing happy birthday to him.
You got to sing happy birthday to him. So.
Yeah, the other thing I forgot to say about that panel was they had a choir came out to sing Jewel of the Fates.
Oh,
and it was like the room kind of just went red, and then smoke came out, and then there's a live choir doing Jewel of the Fates. It was just
very
awesome way to kick off the event. And then other highlights for me, I think Mandalorian panel was great because Rosario Dawson came out. Who's filming Ahsoka at the time,
popped in to say hello.
Popped in to say hello. Jon Favreau told us exactly where they were filming during the opening panel. Dave wasn't too happy about. But other highlights, I would have to say that we mentioned earlier on I think during the opening panel, Jon Favreau mentioned that they'd brought props and costumes and all sorts of different models and props and guns and things from Mandalorian Book of Boba Fett to the event, and there was a separate, not a ticketed event, but a separate queue fest to get into the Mandalorian experience, which was jaw-droppingly good, and I would say 100% worth the price of admission alone. Going to see that, I mean, I would happily pay the same amount of money again to go and watch it, see it separately, because it was just being that close to the props and seeing how they work, because they had like Cad Bane's mask, for example, kind of dissected almost. It's just so good seeing that up close and personal.
and it wasn't a small exhibit either.
No, it was huge, wasn't it? I mean,
it was massive.
When I thought it was over, you walk through another curtain, there's more.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, it was. I mean, as you say, you sort of started off, and people were like, "Oh, all right, I'm going to take pictures of this," and that was like the queue to get into the queue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then when you actually sort of started, it was sort of curtained, and you walked round, and sort of back on yourself, and there were a few of the costumes and a few bits, a Razor Crest cockpit with Mando in it, and Frog Lady, and a few of the other sort of character costumes, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. You walk through, and then you turned the corner and went into this massive room, and it was literally all the way round. You'd got the N1 Starfighter.
Ooh, yeah, right in the middle.
Smack in the middle with R5 and some pit droids.
The Tuscan scene, didn't you, with the Bantha, which you could get pictures with, and video with
interactive video, interactive Bantha that was nodding along and responding to the very helpful man from Disney. Now, so somebody told us while we were out there that was actually being run by Disney Parks.
Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah, not Reed Pop.
Not sort of the convention as such.
Yeah.
And it was just stunning quality. And
yeah, you had like Jabba's palace set up with Boba and
yeah,
Fennec Shan's costumes, and there's so much to see. You could spend all day there, really.
The Rancor.
Yeah.
Rancor's head.
Oh, Max Rebo,
figuring Dan, or whoever the guitarist was from Bith guitarist, and R1 NG0.
You're working hard on that one, aren't you?
I'm campaigning to get the Astromech drummer denoted as R1 NG0, so it's Ringo.
I took a close up of his drumsticks, so we can maybe get you some of those.
Oh, cool. Yes, I took way more pictures of just him and his little kit and little symbol on his head and all that sort of stuff. It was just very, very strange to be able to get as close to stuff like that as you could, and where that was set up, you could actually go sort of all the way around it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant. But yeah, really, really cool. And then it had also then got its own little shop.
Yeah. Merchandising.
Merchandising, yes. So that was really cool as well.
Which is easier to get into than the actual shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot easier to get into than although you've got to go via QFest to get into the exhibit. There was some. I think I'm right in saying they were exclusive to the exhibit.
Yeah, I think the Mandalorian Experience T-shirt and there's a Luke Skywalker one, which I think was exclusive to the exhibit.
Yeah,
and there was exclusive prints, one per day.
Yeah,
which were nice, but I've got no wall space.
And they were reasonably pricey, I think, as well.
I would say they were $30, but I might be talking nonsense.
I certainly, because I was looking
at $50 maybe.
That 45 I heard, but I suppose once you add sales tax on, they would have been about 50. Yeah. So really nice prints, but 200 notes for the lot.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, sadly.
Yes.
But that was, as I say, those two the panel and that were definite highlights for me. The Mando panel was great. But like what you said, the big thing for Celebration is just catching up with friends from all over the world who you haven't seen since the last Celebration. It's quite strange to be walking through a hotel and hearing somebody shouting your name when you're in, a foreign country.
Yeah, unless it's the hotel staff telling you haven't paid your bill.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I was walking through the food court of one of the hotels, and somebody I didn't even hear what they were shouting, but they were shouting at me, it turned out, and it was a friend I made when I was in Chicago. That's the great thing about Celebration. It's if you go on your own, you go with a group of friends, you're sure to come back with more than when you first got there. And that's a big thing DJ Elliott always says, that when he's warming up the stage, the Celebration stage, is like, say hello to the person next to you. You might just find you've got a new friend, especially if you come on your own. And it was great. Really enjoyed the convention. It was great. We did a little segment on the podcast stage as well.
Yeah, that's actually gone out as well now as a making tracks episode. So yeah, we were on
listen to that.
Yeah, and I also during some of the time when Mark, who was hosting the podcast stage, was off doing other bits of going to panels himself and some investigative journalism for articles that he's doing, I think, for Star Wars Insider. I manned the fort on the podcast stage and managed to see over the course of the 4 days some really, really good podcasts that I'd not come across before. So the schedule over the 4 days was just wall to wall, really, really good podcasts,
covering a great variety of topics as well.
Obviously, there were things being announced that during the convention that people were picking up on to do shows on. And it was just really, really exciting. I want to give a particular shout out to the girls from Sky Talkers, who were absolutely brilliant. Not come across their podcast before, but they were brilliant. Really, really into Celebration, and I think possibly of all the podcasts I saw, win the most merch for their audience award.
Nice.
They came with lanyards, stickers, bookmarks, art prints, and some pin badges as well.
Nice.
So yeah,
that probably brings us on to a nice topic after that, which we're going to move on to. But before we do that, I want to shout out Pink Milk. I think they were on just before. I think we did the Making Tracks one, if I remember rightly.
Yes,
they were thereabouts. They were fantastic. So again, I subscribe to them on the Apple Podcasts app, so I can go and look at it. But also, I'll also make a point of going to check out Sky Talkers as well.
Yeah.
So I wasn't unfortunately at that one, but no, you mentioned badges and lanyards. Let's talk swag and
let's talk swag.
What did you get for free, and what did you pay for when you were there, sir?
Right. Well, yeah, I've learned that one of the things you need to do is advertise that you have swag.
Yes, I having come back home with hundreds of Darth Elvis trading cards.
Yeah.
People have lanyards and badges and things on their person to say, I have swag.
Yeah, little like if you've got a backpack, you hang a little sign off your backpack going, I have swag. Stop me to trade.
Yeah.
So yeah,
next time,
definitely.
I'm making a start now on the swag, to be fair.
Yeah, one such person was a guy that had got some Babu Frick. Now, was it a sticker or was it?
It was a sticker. Yeah, I've got it here.
Which, knowing Greg's love of Babu Frick, I was like, there we go. So we had Desert Planet Discs button badges, and if anybody would like one, get in touch. The email address will be at the end of the show, and just say, please, pretty please, give me some free stuff, and we might send you a badge if you're really lucky.
Tell you what, if you can suggest some nice tracks for the show.
Yes, track suggestions. We will send you a set of Darth Elvis trading cards. So we had 4 of those. Yeah,
one for each day. Featuring a couple of myself, not myself, Darth Elvis, that handsome person, excuse me, bleep that word out. One of Chukrappa, our Wookiee friend.
And Wookiee Life Day friend.
Yeah, and one of Mooncat Drums himself. Yes,
looking like I've just been surprised in a Sith lair.
So send us some track suggestions. We'll pick some at random, and we'll send you some trading cards and some stickers and badges and stuff.
So I picked that up, and then generally just talking to people in queues and waiting to go in the morning and things like that. Just got talking to various people who were, I've got a badge, and telling people about Fantha Tracks and the podcast and stuff. And we've got some stuff, and right. So I got a few button badges. Obviously, the Sky Talkers Hall. I got the art print and the bookmark and a lanyard from the girls, and
one of my favourites I've got right in front of me here is Neil from Star Wars Fan Fun Day.
Yes.
Was giving out little jars, like tiny wee jars of sand from Scarif.
Yes.
Because I think, just recently been on holiday to the Maldives with his wife, and came back with lots of little jars full of sand. So it's up here with. I've got another vial of Tatooine sand, which I got from kickstarting for Chris Macht's documenting. It was The Force Among Us, the second one he did. So I've got a little Tatooine sand. So I've got a little Tatooine in Scarif. I should have stolen some grass from the Andor set when I was up there.
Yeah. You haven't been to the Andor set.
I haven't been to the Andor set. You mute it, cut it.
Yeah. What we need is sand from the Cleveleys next.
Yes. Yeah. And
in fact, I do.
We're going to do a road trip, I think.
I do believe that certain of our number were collecting rocks from the beach at the Cleveleys.
Oh.
Prior to Star Wars Fan Fun Day.
Oh, very nice.
So, yeah.
Be able to do our garden night with
That's it.
A little garden section.
This is my Andor-inspired rockery.
This is our Zen garden with sand from different planets and rocks. Okay, so swag. I think I'm trying to remember what other swag I got, but lots of badges and some. We bumped into our Bantha friend again, but we met in Chicago. Fantastic cosplayer.
Yeah.
Got a nice sticker from her. Lots of different badges and patches and stickers and plectrums. Got a cool plectrum.
Plectrums, yes.
What about purchases? Let's talk about purchases.
Purchases. Well, as we've already mentioned, getting it into the Celebration store itself was somewhat tricky.
Troublesome.
Yes, and I've actually had the post Celebration. What could we do better?
Oh yes, I got that
email this week. So I've told them.
I did exactly the same, and I think Troy wrote about the same thing as well.
Yeah. For me, concentrating all of the retail, all of the official retail for the convention into one very difficult to get into store is a bit of a shortcoming. You know, if you were to go to any other event, gig, festival, they have merch stands at numerous places. Yes, not all of them will have all of the product offering available, but you will chip off some of the less ardent shoppers, because let's face it, not everybody's there to shop.
No.
Some people go to Celebration and just check out, or want to get exclusive artwork from the Artist's Alley, of which there was lots and very, very, very good stuff. Some people just want to go to the panels and spend all their time trying to get into the lotteries and queue for the panels. Some people just go for the show exclusive items from people like Funko, Hallmark and people like that.
Yeah, pop-minded, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of casual fans who maybe just want to get a couple of bits of show merch, a t-shirt with the badge of the convention on, or the key art, the program, which wasn't even a display. I had to ask, is there a program? Yes.
Oh yes, under here. Well, we probably have many left, but those,
So for me, that's a real shortcoming. And at the end of the day, people are saying we want to spend our money.
Yeah, make it easy for us.
So maybe
I suspect they've gone home, like Reed Pop or Disney or Lucas or whoever's organised that. Reed Pop will have gone home with truckloads of merchandise because people couldn't get in to buy it.
And also,
so we went in on the Sunday, didn't we? And it was a lot of stock.
Yeah, there was still a lot of stuff there. Obviously, some items, some of the more exclusive or
badges and things like that.
There was some stuff. People had asked us to look out for some of the key art things, the tote bags and stuff like that, which were nowhere to be seen. But Yeah, I think they are missing a bit of a trick there. And if you had several merch stands, the show exclusive key art merch in one area, there was like a custom t-shirty print thing in another area and books in another bit. You would dilute some of the rush. Why there isn't multiple concessions just selling the show guide or whatever.
They've done that in the past. I'm sure in all the European ones, there's like people like you do at music events.
Yeah.
There's like people selling programs throughout.
Yeah,
they've done that throughout London and even Essen. I think was the same. I don't think they did it in Chicago and they didn't do it in Anaheim. But it's missing a huge trick of that. I mean, that's just one item.
I mean, granted, it's not just about having the stock there. You've got to have the people and the technology available to man the thing and be able to take payment for it. But even in this day and age of internet shopping, why you couldn't have I've registered my badge, go into the Celebration store app, order your items, pay for them, and then just have a collection point.
Yeah.
Have a couple of people picking and packing orders. I say a couple of people. You watch, everybody would go for that rather than actually walking around the store. But again,
works for Asda and Tesco and places like that.
Exactly. So you may lose some upselling of product when people have actually queued to get into the store and then go, oh right, it's taken me half an hour to get in here. Let's have a look. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like the look of that as well. Oh, I like. Whereas if you just,
but people could still do that if they want to queue up for it.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you get what you really want, but you've seen pictures of it and says, I like looking at that.
Yeah.
But you still have the option to then go and pick up these other bits and pieces. So.
Yeah, and I guess you always have the issue, particularly with clothing, that you never quite know what the sizing is going to be like.
Yeah. As I found out, sadly, my Max Rebo t-shirt doesn't fit.
Oh.
But my wife says the colour doesn't suit me. It obviously competes with my baby blue eye.
Yes. Yeah. Are you sure she's not just angling? She likes it.
Well, she seems to get all my Darth Elvis t-shirts because, Anyway.
But So there's that practical side to it that people might actually want to go and try stuff on, but even so, have some stuff available more freely on the show floor and have some element of internet shopping available. That'd be
great. Yeah,
preferable.
You're listening to Fantha Tracks. Flip through the galaxy of literature with Cannon Fodder hosts Brian Cameron, Matt Booker, Mark Newbold, and Mark Mulcaster.
Count me in.
Spin round the rim with Desert Planet Discs. Your musical journey through the space lanes with your hosts, Carl Bayless and Greg Robertson.
The hottest tunes this side of Mos Eisley. Happy!
Get the latest news, interviews, reviews, and much more on Making Tracks with your hosts, Mark Newbold and Mark Mulcaster.
Like an Ewok battle wagon out of control.
Join hosts Claire Henry and a rotating panel of guest hosts for the podcast that's full of hope. Planet Leia.
I love you.
I know.
It's time to head south with the Fantha from Down Under, Adam O'Brien.
Oh, g'day, mate. How you going?
Start your engines with Paul Naylor and Mark Newbold as they lift the hood on starships, airspeeders, swoops, capital ships, and more from across the cosmos. And for everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video, and social media feeds. Bookmark fanthatracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
Other purchases. Did you buy anything on the main show floor?
Did I buy anything on the main show floor?
I did get. I got the Thrawn Itty Bitty from Pop Minded, which was great.
Yeah.
Autographs. I wanted to also mention autographs because obviously I'm a big autograph collector.
Yes.
And I went for 3 this time. I didn't go for too many. Watching my pennies. I say watching my pennies. I did get Ewan McGregor as one of those autographs. And I would have liked to have got autograph and a photo, to be fair, but at the cost, not a chance that was happening.
Yeah.
And I went for the autograph thinking, you tend to get a bit more time with the person getting an autograph and you do a photo op, which is kind of like click off next. And it sounds like it was possibly the opposite for Ewan. It was like the queuing, and when you got behind the curtain to then get the autograph, it was like somebody took your item, somebody took a pen and passed it down with, and it got to you and you had people either side of him, so you didn't really see him until you were stood right in front of him, and you tried to get words out, and I was like, and then you got such a quick signature. I was like, hi, how you doing? Next. Yeah. And off you went. I was like, So I kind of wish I'd gone for the photo. But counterpoint to that, I did get Kelly Marie Tran, and she was wonderful, lovely as her old social media. She's obviously not on there anymore, but enthusiastic, positive energy, just through the roof, just great to meet. And Rupert Friend, who plays the Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, and I think I was the last person that in the queue at that time, so I got a good few minutes speaking to him with Paulor, who was helping me out at that point. He was a really nice guy. Gave him some Darth Elvis trading cards, because obviously he needs them in his life.
Obviously.
And I've promised I will write him a Grand Inquisitor song, so I better get to work on that before London.
Before he sends the rest of the Inquisitors team out after you.
Indeed. Sorry, I just let slip what the next celebration is. Not that
It's all right. I don't think anybody will notice.
Nobody noticed. So that was my purchases.
I picked up a couple of T-shirts from the main the Mandalorian experience. One of which seems to be really, really popular during the show, which is basically hashtags of like Din Djarin, Grogu, Ahsoka, Greef, Quill.
Did they mention Cara Dune on that T-shirt?
Ooh, now you're asking.
Yeah, this when you mentioned all the popular characters, I was like, she's very popular.
Yeah, I can't remember, and unfortunately, it's in a separate building to where I'm recording, so I can't even dash and go and have a quick look.
Tune into our next show to find out.
Tune into our next show to find out. Yes. Or if you see anybody wearing them, just trying to. I think it does. I'm going to say it does. But yeah, there we go. And then one of Jabba's palace, but done in a sort of like with stripes missing out of it, so it kind of looks like the stylized Disney castle. Yeah. It's like a green, army green T-shirt, and then outline of Jabba's castle with like some gaps in it. So it does look.
Am I right in saying it says home? Is that it's got Aurebesh on it, hasn't it?
It has. Home. It's got Aurebesh underneath it, which I have been led to believe says home.
Yeah.
I haven't yet checked that out by using one of my.
Again, tune into our next show
to find out when I've actually had time to try and put it into one of my Aurebesh fonts that I've got on my other PC, and I'll try and work that out. Got some lovely bits. One of the other things I did while we were there was go and check out the Rancho Obi-Wan booth.
Yes, that was stunning.
Their display, which was from basically the journey from Boba Fett to the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
In terms of, the original sort of holiday special animation and the character design from the original era right through, all the merchandise and fan-made things and different countries, merch that's been put out there and things like that, right the way through to sort of modern era stuff, and that was really, really cool exhibit. And as a patron of Rancho Obi-Wan, I got VIP queue jumping in to get into that and walk around, and lo and behold, immediately behind me as I was going round was the director of Fanboys, Kyle Newman.
Carl Newman, nice.
And I really, really wanted to talk to him, but he got his 2 kids with him and was being shown around by one of the Rancho team. So I didn't really want to sort of cut in on his family time because his kids were like sort of asking him loads of questions, and I was like, yes, I don't
good
really
on you,
want to
Carl.
go,
Good on you.
Oh, hello, I'm a fanboy of Fanboys.
No, that was the right thing to do. Give the guy his privacy when he's got his kids. Well done, sir.
Yeah,
well done.
So there we go.
Top fan. I like it.
I did go massively fanboy when I met Claudia Gray in the Coffee with Kenobi podcast.
A bit gutted I missed her because I love Lost Stars. It's such one of my favourite Star Wars novels. So.
Well, I love Lost Stars, but I just had to tell her how right I think she got Leia in Leia, Princess of Alderaan.
Right.
Because the characterization, which we might come back to in respect of another project, but the characterization of a sort of pre-New Hope Leia in her sort of mid-teens is spot on. And
I've not read that one, so I think I will pick that up on your recommendation.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And likewise with Master and Apprentice, which is the Obi-Wan Qui-Gon novel. It's all too easy for elements of fandom to jump on creatives when they think they've got something wrong in terms of, oh, well, that's not how this character would react, or that's not their voice, as it were. But she seems to have really got under the skin of Leia and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon to the point that you don't even sort of blink. You just think it's, certainly with Master and Apprentice, you just think it's Ewan and Liam.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I did sort of gush a little bit and tell her that I just thought she was absolutely brilliant.
Well done, sir. Quite right. Though she is brilliant.
And then, as I say, so I did the Rancho booth and picked up a few bits of their merch. I got a nice little pouch for one of my audio recorders that I tend to slug around with me to conventions, a pin badge, a tote bag with the Rancho logo on as well. I think that was it from there.
Nice.
And I was going to purchase a Star Wars belt, and I sort of found one stand that had got several, and I sort of had a look at them on the Thursday and sort of went, oh yeah, those are quite good. Not exactly what I'm after, but yeah, I might come back. Went back on the Friday, they'd still got 2 or 3 designs. I was like, yeah. Of the 3, I like that one the best, but I'm going to keep an eye out. And then I went back on the Saturday to get one, having convinced myself that I was going to get one, and they'd all gone.
No, that was one of the other things I bought, which I forgot about. I got the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show Moby Face Apple Watch strap.
Oh yes,
and the faces that come with that. So that was another little purchase I did. But the other merchandise I will talk about another time, because we probably don't have time to talk about it this time. And that was from my first visit to Batuu, or my many visits to Batuu that trip. But I'll talk about that on the next show, because we're running out of time swiftly.
Yes. Yes.
So before we move on to having some more music, what was your favourite cosplayer you saw during the long weekend?
Cosplay?
Costumer, cosplayer.
Yeah.
Although we both want to say nay, Paulor,
Yeah.
We don't want to big up his head too much. So let's
No. Paulor aside, I was going to say I don't recall it being as big in London, but then I've just immediately then thought of in London there was a guy walking around as a waiter with a silver platter, and when he took the top off the silver platter, it was Jar Jar's head.
Chef Vader, yeah.
Yes. So there was a Luke and Leia as like the original yellow Lego minifigs, and there was a Pikachu Mando, and a Mickey Mouse Stormtrooper.
Nice.
So it was like a Stormtrooper, but with giant Mickey Mouse hands and the yellow shoes.
I like it.
But that was London. Favourite cosplay?
Well, while you're thinking about that, I can say my one, which was, as many of you might know, I am a huge fan of Biston the Space Monkey. Ever since Star Wars Celebration in London 2016, when he made an appearance at the Rogue One panel, it was love at first sight for me and that monkey. And he was there. There was a guy, it looked like he'd stepped out of the movie. It was that good.
It was. I think I was with you when we.
You were indeed. Yeah, he was with Last Jedi Luke at the time.
Yeah.
And I just had to sorry, can I stop you? Please have a picture. And I got a picture with. I didn't get a picture with him. I took a picture of him, which was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, there was. I just so many really really good cosplayers. I liked there was a really really good Cara Dune.
Yes. Yep. Spoke to her. Yep.
And there was a stunning Bad Batch with an older than Series 1 Omega in armour, which made me wonder, I wonder if they know something we don't. And then, lo and behold, the Bad Batch panel, I think the day after, we got to see Omega, slightly older, in armour. So that was really good.
I think you're forgetting of one which I think really took your fancy, and it was at the Bash. And it wasn't Paul Naylor. It was a pink Wookiee.
Pink Wookiee was very good.
Yeah. Was the pink Wookiee wearing a bandolier? Can you remember?
I think they may have been.
Can you see what I'm doing?
I can see exactly what you're doing here, and it's very clever because bandolier is indeed the title of the next song we're going to play, and it is from. We found this on YouTube from Teddie Films. That's Teddie Films, and it's a cover of Chandelier by Sia.
Quality tune.
It is called Bandolier, and the video is absolutely brilliant. So go to YouTube, check it out. But you can also check out Teddie Films on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But for now, here's Bandolier.
I'm Solo's girl, I shouldn't flirt, but your bug is here. When will I learn? No, is he down? No, is he down? He's the one like you, fuzzball, the best sidekick of them all. Wanna feel the fuzz, I feel the fuzz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, wink. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, wink. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, wink. Feel the fuzz until we drown. I'm gonna swing from his bandolier, from his bandolier. I'm gonna live like Han Solo doesn't exist, like he doesn't exist. I'm gonna fly like the Falcon's hyperdrive. until he frowns. I'm gonna swing from his bandolier, from his bandolier. I'm gonna live like Han Solo doesn't exist, like he doesn't exist. I'm gonna fly like the Falcon's hyperdrive, with you walking by my side. I'm gonna swing from his bandolier, from his bandolier. He's my only hope for tonight. Walk back down, won't open my eyes. Keep the Wookiee until morning light, 'cause Han Solo is in carbonite. Chewie's my only hope for tonight. Walk back down, won't open my eyes. Keep the Wookiee until morning light, 'cause Han Solo is in carbonite. In carbonite, him for tonight. Chewie's my only hope for tonight. Oh, I'm just holding him for tonight. Him for tonight. Him for tonight. 'Cause Han Solo is in carbonite. Chewie's my only hope for tonight. Oh, I'm just holding him for tonight. Him for tonight. Him for tonight.
As we said at the top of that track, that's Bandolier from Teddie Films, Teddie Films. Check them out and support them and follow them on social media. Brilliant work. Love the video, love the track, and
Video's fantastic. Highly recommend going to check it out
Yeah.
over YouTube. So, and they've
And
got
look,
other great
and-
parodies.
and features cosplaying as well.
It does indeed. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there we go.
Good link there. Look, we can do
Yeah.
it sometimes. We can get these links right sometimes.
That's it. So one of the other things that happened whilst we were at Celebration was, of course, the start, the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, the new Disney Plus series. Now, obviously, as we record this, I think we've just
4
had
episodes.
4 episodes in.
2/3 of the way through it.
2/3 of the way through this limited run series, and we weren't fortunate enough to be one of the lucky few that actually got to watch it at Celebration in the giant arena with the cast and crew and design team, but because we were at the bash that night, but we
Sound checking. Yeah.
sound checking and doing gigs and things like that. But we hot-footed it out of the bash back to our hotel and desperately tried to watch it and make sure we'd watched it by the time we got back to the convention the next morning. So we were fully up on everything. So what are you making of the show so far?
Absolutely loving it. And again, I'm a emotional wreck at times with Star Wars, and won't go into too much details because we don't want to spoil it for anyone who's maybe a bit behind. But I think they've nailed the. I think it's fair to say it's not a spoiler now because it's been on for 4 weeks. Young Leia on the show. She's a very talented young actress, and the writing and the performance from her has been fantastic. And there's moments between the two of them with Ewan and
Vivian Lyra Blair.
That's it, Vivian Lyra Blair. The scenes with the two of them are just unbelievable. Especially week 4, I wouldn't say much more about it, but the 4th episode there was just a moment that had me
there's
lump in the throat, and I was like,
there's a line in episode 4 which had me in absolute stitches. And head over to fantatracks.com and check out our weekly reviews and look out for podcast reviews with Mark and Mark.
the Funky Bunch.
Yeah, because they're doing sort of reaction episodes for Obi-Wan as well. But there's episode 4 for me is the episode of the callback. There's so many nods to little things in other films in there. It's just, or other Star Wars properties. It's untrue. There's loads of stuff, but the one exchange between little Leia and Raven, and she's like, "Is this a staring contest?"
Yeah.
I just had me in absolute stitches.
Yeah,
it's a bit like the Poe Dameron. Who talks first? You talk first. I talk first. And it's just like it's.
I'm loving this show. It's I could have quite easily watched 6 episodes of Ewan McGregor dressed as Obi-Wan Kenobi singing "Kumbaya."
Yeah,
I would have been happy. But they've just nailed it. I think it's great seeing Owen back in like the first episodes. I think the Inquisitors, obviously there was a bit of gripe beforehand of how the Grand Inquisitor looked, but I'm very happy with how he been. I think Rupert's did a fantastic job. Lovely guy, as I said earlier on.
Yeah.
Had a good old chat with him, and hopefully get to do so again at the next celebration. But yeah, I'm just loving this show. I'm excited about the last 2 episodes. I'm sad there's only 2 episodes to go.
Yeah. Although we again in the last week we've heard. I say we've heard. Makes it sound like we've got a special secret inside track. The news seems to be, or rumours seem to be abound that they are actually going to be. They've been overwhelmed by the success of the show, and that they are potentially looking at a second series.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. I think, but even before it was such a hit. I mean, it's the biggest viewing figures they've had since Disney Plus launched.
Yeah.
I think they have to do another season of it, at least one, because I think there's still so much to tell between in that time period with Obi-Wan.
That's the only thing for me. I've said all along I wouldn't be averse to them doing a second series, or second, third, however many series, but you've got a limited time span.
Yeah,
and for me, you've got Vader in this series as the big bad, and the rematch we keep being teased with. I just really hope that if they do go in and do a second series, that the story is there and it's not just being done because of ratings.
Yeah.
They're not trying to sort of this has done really well. Let's do another series. There's got to be a genuinely worthy story to be told.
Yes, absolutely, and being careful not to then ruin the canon that's already there.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. He was a hermit on Tatooine, except for every other sort of week when he disappeared off planet to go and rescue Leia, who's got herself into trouble again, or
trouble again.
Yes. So yeah, fingers crossed. Certainly everything that I've seen from the show so far, obviously Ewan's involved in the executive producer role.
Yeah.
Deborah Chow seems to be hitting all the right notes. The writing team, as you said, have got the voices of the characters, like I was saying earlier with Claudia Gray. It's not just a case of Ewan turns up, so it's going to be Obi-Wan. The script has got to be right. Yes, he said he's got input into that in terms of turning around and saying, no, Obi-Wan, I don't think Obi-Wan would act in that way, or he wouldn't say that sort of thing. And that's obviously an important part of that creative process, but there's got to be a good story to be told, and as you say, that doesn't tread all over the toes of what we already know from both the prequel trilogy and sort of the OT as well. So
yeah, I think the other thing that the show's done really well, and it has added more to the sequel trilogy, is that relationship between Obi-Wan and Leia, and the fact that Leia and Han ultimately named their kid Ben.
Yeah.
So that relationship, I think, is really adding to that and
Yeah.
giving a nice kind of emotional connection to that, which I think is fantastic.
Definitely.
No, I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes. I'm sad there's only 2 to go. I kind of wish that they maybe hadn't done that 2 episodes the first week, so we'd had an extra week. But can't complain. I'm loving the show so far. I think the cast and crew, the casting's been perfect. The writing's brilliant. The directing's fantastic. Yeah, I think they're knocking out of the park, to be honest. I was a bit. Book of Boba Fett was a mixed bag for me.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think, is nailing it so far. 100%. 100%.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. So, as talking of Leia, we're going to close out the show this week with a song from our buddy, Royish Good Looks, the man who can write so many quality Star Wars songs and Star Wars parodies, and a very, very talented man. He's got a new tune out called A New Hope, Where Are You, Leia, which you can find on his Spotify, YouTube, subscribe to him on Facebook and Twitter and all these good places, and as I say, YouTube, and go and give it a listen. And then hopefully at our next show we can talk about the last 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, and look ahead to the next offering, which will be only just around the corner then, which of course is Andor, which is coming our way in August.
Indeed, yeah, and it's looking fantastic. But in between now and our next show, I think we might be recording a bonus track. We won't say any more about that. We'll keep it under our hats just now. But a bonus track is on its way, and as I say, in the next one, I will talk about my time at Batuu, because it blew my socks off. But anyway, I'll talk about it another time.
There we go.
Without further ado, this is A New Hope, Where Are You, Leia, by Royish Good Looks.
Was Royish Good Looks with A New Hope, Where Are You, Leia? He's released about 3 or 4 tracks since the last time we recorded a show, so do check him out. The quality and regularity with which he releases songs is something to behold.
It is indeed, and they're always of top quality. So
yes. So as Greg's already teased, we should be recording a bonus track episode in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that, and tune in next time for our next regular episode to hear all about the Tales of Batuu.
And also the unanswered questions from this week's episode.
And also all the questions that we forgot to answer or research before we recorded this episode. And so we'll find out if Cara Dune is on the Mando t-shirt.
Yeah, indeed. And as we mentioned earlier on the show, if you have any track suggestions, please send them on to us, and we'll pick somebody at random to give some little freebies.
Yeah, some celebration swag from our very own back pockets. So there we go. So on that note, all it leaves us to say is thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
See you next time. It's a hot dang from me.
And it's a hot dang from him.
Hot
dang.
Thanks for listening to Desert Planet Discs. If you want to stay part of the action and up to date on all the latest Star Wars news, check out the Fantha Tracks app via the App Store on your mobile device.
You can contact us via email at radio@fanthatracks.com. Comment, like, and share on any of our social media feeds at Fantha Tracks, and be sure to subscribe. Leave a review, preferably a 5-star one, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice.
Don't forget to head to fanthatracks.com/radio, home of Fantha Tracks Radio, and follow us on our social media feeds at Fantha Tracks, and bookmark fanthatracks.com for all the latest in Star Wars news.
Coming up next on Fantha Tracks Radio, it's another episode of Making Tracks.